Hey, what's going on, family? Welcome back to the Make a Buck with a Truck podcast. It's your boy, Big Mike, right back at you. So on this episode, we have Miss Sonya Jones with GIP Financial. Hey, listen, thank you so much for all your likes, comments, and shares. Hey, put this information out here. It's just not just for truckers. It's for entrepreneurs all over everywhere. She has some great, valuable information. And if you stay to the end, she has something very, very special for just my listeners. Hey, love you guys and make a buck with it. Hey, welcome back to the Make a Buck with a Truck podcast. It's your boy, Big Mike, right back at you. So today, I promised you this last week, but we got you covered. Miss Sonya Jones, GIP Financials. The lady is phenomenal, y'all. She knows her stuff. You know what I'm saying? If you check her out on TikTok, she's karaticizing your tax issues. So that's what we do. So we want to talk about today, and she's so gracious for giving me her time today, but we want to talk about today about what it takes to get your business set up right. We're going to talk about today what it takes for you to make sure that you're being compliant when it comes to your taxes. We're going to talk about today the things that you possibly can do to restructure yourself, to maybe even get a little bit, we're going to delve into a little bit of your business financing, okay? So let's go ahead and let me allow her to introduce herself, Miss Sonya Jones. Y'all, here she go.
All right. Well, good afternoon, and thank you, Mr. Mike, again for the opportunity. Again, I'm Sonya Jones with GIP Financials. The GIP stands for Get in Position. And what we do, we empower CEOs to prioritize their numbers and position their businesses for profit. And how do we do that? We do that through bookkeeping and fundamental business finance education. So we're not just taking your numbers, putting them in the pot, mixing them up, and baking a cake with it. We're actually going to teach you, because every CEO needs to know their numbers, because we're all thinking about scale and we're always thinking about funding and things like that. And then also, we don't want you to be in a position to where you're getting, caught up what we call the alphabet boys, otherwise known as the IRS, right? Because a lot of our clients come to us in crisis after the damage is done. So we want to be very proactive. And this is the perfect season to be evangelists, tax evangelists, if you will, so we can get everybody informed. This is the time where you actually save your money on your taxes on the latter half of the tax year. You've already got January to June. You've done some spending. Now we have to look at your net profit to see how to forecast what your numbers are going to look like for quarters 3 and 4, and also to start strategizing how can we start saving money, or even if you're probably at a loss right now, how can we try to look at some systems to increase your profit? So this is what we're here to talk about today. So.
All right. So y'all notice what she called y'all, right? What she called us. She called the CEOs, and that's exactly what we are. These are our companies. We're ultimately responsible for these companies. So we have to make sure that we take care of our finances the right way. And Ms. Jones, I just wanted to ask you a question. Did you read Profit First?
Have I read Profit First? I have not read that.
Okay, so I read Profit First within the morning meetup, and it is. I'm saying, so that's the system that I institute, and it talks about paying your taxes on a quarterly basis and stuff like that. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to. And this is a discussion that me and Ms. Jones are going to have, because guys, I never bring nothing to y'all that I'm not willing to do myself. So Ms. Jones, I'm humbly asking you, can I be your client here real soon, to help me keep my stuff the way it's supposed to be?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah. Great, that'll work. So Ms. Jones, can you tell me, just as the beginning, how do we start out getting an individual who, just say hypothetically that he's been working on a sole proprietorship and he hadn't paid taxes? How do we get an individual like that started?
All right, so this is actually kind of how we normally have our consultations. We have a CEO that has started a business, has done very well in their business, because anytime that you are making a profit, you have proven that your business is needed, right? So we want to first congratulate you on that. And then second of all, we might have a situation where the CEO has made a significant amount of money, like 5 figures to 6 figures within 12-month time. And so the first thing that we want to look at is that current business entity the proper entity that's going to give you the best setup regarding tax liability. So you might have a sole proprietorship or a single member LLC, especially if we're talking about in the realm of trucking, because you're in a vehicle, and because of the liability, because you're traveling, things like that, somebody, God forbid, may hit you or vice versa. You want to make sure at least to be in a single member LLC for asset protection's sake, right? So that's the first thing. So, and then the second thing is, even if you are a trucker, and truckers are making, especially in this season right now, a significant amount of money. So what we have to look at also is your net profit. So you talked about a potential individual that might not have filed taxes recently, or maybe didn't know what to do. So they probably didn't file taxes to prevent, possibly, some owing some money later on or something like that. Have no fear. You can always, file a prior year tax return with an amendment or something of that magnitude. If you've already filed and you realize that maybe you probably need to change your entity status to save some money. We have a partner, Michael Tunstall, G1 Business Group. That is our tax preparer who helps our clients as well. And he also specializes in business entity structure as well. So with that being said, those are the two things that we look at. Entity structure, we look at what you've done prior in your tax reporting, whether you've done it or not. And also, as we're looking at your prior business history, if your net profit, and we get your net profit by looking at your gross revenue minus your expenses within that tax year. If your net profit is under 40K, 9 times out of 10 for tax liability purposes, you're going to be in the best spot as a single member LLC, right? If you're a sole proprietorship, we're going to go ahead and ask you to go ahead and bump up for asset protection purposes. Because if you're a sole proprietor and say something happens, in your trucking company where somebody tries to sue you, they can come after your personal assets. And that's the last thing that we want, right? So we want to make sure that you're at least in a single member LLC. So if you're in litigation, the only thing that they can come after are the profits within your entity structure. That's first thing. If your net profit is over 40,000, then we're going to look at putting you in a entity structure called an S corp. And what the S corp will provide for you, not also just protection in your business, but also for you, it saves you significantly in your self-employment taxes, right? So say, for example, I'm gonna use some easy numbers. You shot up from net profit in 2020 from 40,000 to 100,000. Big things popping, right? And so in that 100,000, if you were just a single member LLC, you would have to pay the self-employment tax 15.3% on that 100K. So you have to owe the alphabet boys $15,300, right? We don't want to pay all that, right? So within that 100K, if you switch your entity over to an S corp, the first thing that the S corp requires is that you put yourself on payroll, right? And the IRS also states that you pay yourself a reasonable wage. So we have to make sure that we do some research about, what the market rate is for truckers, right? Say it's maybe 50K, right? If you make 50K a year and you set yourself on payroll to make that 50K is the only amount that you'll be taxed on, right? Because all of the profits within the S corp will flow into the company, but the owners have to be put on payroll. So you as the owner will only be responsible for that 50K. So remember, we said that you had a net profit of 100. So what happens to the remaining 50K, right? That goes back into the business to be reinvested. And so for us, we're always looking to reduce your net profit. So we're looking at some strategic spending, right? Are there any professional development opportunities that you can take? Is there some special coaching that you may need to, to invest in to help you scale your business? Do you need some employees or some contracted employees to help you delegate some of those tasks? So it's those types of things that we're looking at. Or maybe even if you have to park your truck somewhere, right? And if you have to store it, maybe there's some prepaid incentives. Like if you prepay for it a year in advance and they give you 20% off, that's still a tax deductible expense. So we're looking at ways to not just ball till we fall. We want to make sure that we take those profits that you're making and strategically spend them so that it's a win-win for you tax-wise and also to step up your business. I hope that makes sense. I know it was long. Yeah.
Yeah, it really makes sense. And guys, this is what I really want you all to know. So if you think about it, listen to what Ms. Jones said. She said that especially in trucking. So yeah, trucking is what this podcast is about. But this information can be shared with entrepreneurs all over the world because everybody needs to, remember I told you, mind your business. You know what I'm saying? Mind your business. Make sure you get your money right. Make sure that you're taking care of your taxes, that you're minding your business, that you're doing something to make sure your business operates. We have to stay ready so we won't have to get ready. So what I want you to understand is that Ms. Jones is truly telling you the truth about the way this thing goes. We have to be diligent about our efforts and be able to go forward and move forward as far as our finances goes. And Ms. Jones, so when you start to move into, you got your quarterly taxes and stuff like that you pay, what services do you all provide for that aspect?
Good question. So I was talking to Mr. Tunstall. I call him Bro Tunstall. I was talking to Bro Tunstall about this early last week, and that because he's seeing the same thing on his side as well, is that a lot of our CEOs, if they're starting out in business, they might not know, the ins and outs. And those taxes, you got your federal taxes and you have your state taxes. Now, for the state of Tennessee, we may not have income tax, but you also have, your business tax, and then you also have to pay your federal quarterly tax as well. So we want to make sure that not only are we giving you your financial numbers, so say for us with GIP, when we connect you to your accounting software, we primarily use QuickBooks. We're going to look at your profit and loss, right? And we're going to look at it every month, and we're also going to look at it by the quarter. So we're going to try to make sure that what you're paying in quarterly taxes is as close to what you're making as humanly possible, right? So you're not overpaying and definitely not underpaying, right? So we're going to take that report, say that you made $10,000, right? And you're going to take that quarterly amount and you're going to submit that to your federal tax database. If you're not comfortable doing that, we can pay that on your behalf. Or Tunstall can do that as well. Because we're also, like I was talking to you, Mr. Mike, if we need to do a special webinar for truckers, that's two of the things that we're also going to talk about as well. How you navigate, like say in the state of Tennessee, we got TNTAP. That's the database that we use for our state business tax. How you navigate that, how you submit your payment for that. If you have an accountant or a tax preparer or whoever you trust to do those things on your behalf, you can give us access to that in a safe and legal way to do that. So we can pay those taxes on your behalf as well. Uh-oh, where did he go? Mr. Mike?
I appreciate you. I appreciate you answering that question about the quarterly taxes. And I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what happened. I kind of got disconnected, but I'm back. Okay. So, Ms. Jones. So the next question I have is that once we've gotten into the taxes part of it, how is it that you can help us with managing our money, with being profitable in our business? How can you help us with that?
All right, good question. So what we currently do, the way our monthly bookkeeping process works, is that I call them the positionettes. So I have 3 staff accountants and a client concierge. Every client that we have is assigned to a staff accountant, and between Diamond, Stantasia, and Latasha, one of those 3 will be assigned to you to go over your transactions, to help you connect your bank feed with QuickBooks. And so I want to make sure that everybody hears me well. that if you are running a business, you must have your entity structure set up. You must have an EIN in the name of that business. And you must have a business checking account. Okay, whether it's an online account or you have, a physical account, whichever one is more comfortable for you, as long as you have one in the name of your business that's attached to the EIN, that is a must. Okay, because if we're going to be a business, you got to be all or nothing about it, right?
Right.
So with that being said, the staff accountants will walk you through connecting your account to QuickBooks. All your transactions from your account will come to QuickBooks, and we're going to categorize them based off of those expenses, right? And most of those transactions should be business related, but if they are not, they're going to be coded to what we call owner's draw. And that is a personal expense that you used with business funds. There's nothing illegal about that, especially if you are a sole proprietor or a single member LLC. That's the way you ought to do it. Those things ought to be separated. Okay. If you're an S Corp, it's going to be called a shareholders distribution. Mm-hmm. All right. So I just want to put that in the ease of everybody's mind. Like, oh crap, I don't have that. No worries, we got you covered. So with that, after they do all the categorizations for the month, I step in and I look at 3 reports. I look at your profit and loss. I look at your balance sheet. And if we need to look at your cash flow statement, we're definitely going to look at your cash flow statement. So just to give you a very, very brief explanation of what those 3 reports are. If you think of your business as a tree, your balance sheet is the trunk of the tree. That's the strongest part of the tree. That's the essence of who your business and what your business is. The fruit of the tree, the leaves and the pretty leaves and branches and fruit, that's your profit and loss. And the water, the nourishment that feeds the tree, that's your cash flow statement. We cannot run our businesses without cash, right? So if your cash flows into the tree, the stronger your balance sheet is, that's how strong your business is going to be. And that is what produces the fruit. Okay, so I'm looking at all 3 of those accounts to see, I see that there has been a significant spending in one particular area. Or if I notice that there's trends in particular categories and stuff like that, that's what my eyes see. And so I want to be talking to you about that, right? And also I'm going to be looking at your cash flow to see if you're spending in a certain way. Like say, if I notice that you automatically have a loss for the month, I'm going to be looking to see, first of all, if you're a trucker, if Amazon or anybody that you're working for, are they paying you properly and are they paying you on time? We're going to look at your accounts receivable, your money in. And also, we're also going to look at your spending, because believe it or not, a lot of us CEOs are spending money on expenses and subscriptions for the same things, right? On features that you might be getting on 2 different platforms. You may not even notice that, right? Or even like in your payroll expenses and stuff like that. So we're always going to be looking at ways to see if we can increase your profits, lower your spending, or just not just lowering it, but just spending it in a smarter way. So that's what we do. And also that's the basics of our bookkeeping. But also we have a package called the position to profit package. That costs a little bit more, but what you also get is tax planning. A lot of us as CEOs, we don't think about retirement and saving the profits that we have now to invest long term. We have self-employment, IRAs, things of those magnitude that you can invest in, that you can, deduct in your taxes, like your well-being, your health insurance and stuff like that. All those things are tax deductible expenses. You need a tax planner for that. Brotonsta, right? It's so important that you have a bookkeeper and a tax preparer that are talking to each other, right? We meet on a monthly basis to talk about all of the clients that we share together. So not only am I doing like a Dr. Phil session with you, like Mike, once you connect with us, I want to hear your long-term plans, because I'm also going to be speaking about that to Brotonsta. about, because he's going to also be thinking about tax planning in that regard as well. So this is a team effort. So with that position of profit package, not only are you getting bookkeeping services, in the event that you're going to get tax planning, you're going to get tax preparation, and you're also going to get access to my personal connections for business credit, as well as other business related opportunities. I'm a certified minority business owner with the city of Memphis. I can help you get certified and get connected to government and local government contracts, things of that magnitude, to kind of help you increase, your capacity for your business. So that's what the position of profit package will also give you access to my personal connections, so we can get you in position to make the big books.
Yeah.
So,
that's what I'm talking about. So see, now she's talking to my language, which is scale. So if you think about this, y'all, so right here in Stanton, Tennessee, they building a Ford plant in Mason Stanton area. So we need to think about that. That's possibly going to be one of the major contracts that you're going to be able to get as a minority business entity, as a woman's owned entity, woman business entity, So just think about it. If you're a minority and you own this country, this company, you can go in and go grab one of those contracts and you're going to get priority. If you're a female owner, you know what I'm saying? White, black, it don't matter. If you're in the woman business entity, then guess what? The WBE, then guess what? You can go grab one of those contracts. So this is some of the things that we need to realize that we've got going on and have this opportunity. So Ms. Jones, I really, really appreciate you. So I got one last question.
Yeah.
How is it that you can help a person scale on to get to the next level by using your system?
Very, very good question. So like I said, a lot of us don't understand. Like I see, we see things on social media about, how you can apply for business credit, with just the LLC and things of that magnitude, which are all true and good. But my heart is to educate. I'm an educator by trade. This is year 20 for me as an educator. I still work full time, y'all. I taught elementary music for 12 years. And so I'm entering now into year 9 as director of finance and operations for a local charter school here in Memphis. So education is my heart. Our CEOs need to know, when we're talking about scaling, you get to know your numbers, as well as knowing, like, if if you've been trending like an average growth of about $30,000 or $40,000 a year, right? From a tax standpoint, you need to know what's going to be the best way for you to reduce your tax liability, so you're only paying what you need to pay. Second thing, you need to make sure that you're planning properly, right? So the more money you make, the more pots or the more, streams of income that you have to protect yourself and your family. And then the next thing, like we talked about with, local government and stuff like that, you want to make sure that you're not just, reaching at the first opportunity. You want to be smart about it, right? Because like the city of Memphis currently have, this is the how much of a need that they have right now. Not only do they have these certifications, but they're also offering what we call free cohorts, where they're teaching you how to apply for these RFPs and government contracts and stuff like that. And even in those applications, they're going to be asking you about your profit and loss, your balance sheet and stuff like that. And it's so much easier to have somebody already on your team that can access your accounting software. They can print those, numbers out. We can also show you and teach you what these numbers mean, because they're going to call you and ask you about these numbers. So you got to be prepared to talk about them. No accounting firm is doing that right now. We are going to teach you how to do that because we want you to win, right? Mm-hmm. And then also, as we're going through, those applications, we can also help you prepare, like for if you're connected with those types of communities, you're going to get access to grant opportunities, stuff like that. They're all going to ask you about your financials. we can help you with loan and grant application assistance to make at least the financial portions of those applications nice and pretty, and they are easy to read, they're legible, they make sense, right? So we're going to help you with all of those things. So it's those fundamental pieces of the puzzle that are going to get you to where you need to be. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. So if y'all listen to what she's saying, if you really, really pay attention to what she's saying, you have to have your business in the right position. You know what I'm saying? What does GIP stand for?
Get in position.
Get in position. There you go. So you have to get in position. You have to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. If you get ready now, some of these contracts, even though you might have to spend a little money, you might have to spend for the services, but paying for these services can bring you from a level of $50,000 a year to $100,000+ a year into the upper echelons of six figures. So we know six figures is from 100,000 to 999,000. But if I'm in six figures, I'm gonna want to be up there. I'm gonna want to be up above 5. So that's where we're trying to get to. These are the scales that we're trying to get to. So once you get to this level, it doesn't matter about the minute things that you have go on. If you have a breakdown, a tire or something like that, you're making $500,000 a year. You can't afford a tire. I'm just being honest. You know, so these are the levels that we're trying to get to. So let's take care of our business. Let's mind our business. Let's get with Miss Sonya Jones and listen. Then we'll get in position myself with Get in Position Financial, GIP Financial. So this is something that I'm striving for, that I'm trying to get to. And y'all can walk the journey with me if you want to. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to most definitely become a client. If I believe in something, I believe in putting my money where my mouth is. So I believe in what Miss Jones has going on. And Miss Jones, you want to put out about the event? You want to speak about the event right quick?
What we are looking to do Labor Day weekend, we want to host it's kind of like a mixer CEO meetup, and we're connected with another young man that we met through Black Equity Con in the morning meetup. His name is Jay Fogel with the local app, LOKUL app. And his app is specifically for finding Black-owned businesses around the country. So we're still trying to work out venue logistics, but we're looking to do it Labor Day weekend. So just keep Labor Day weekend kind of open. So once we figure out, the date and the time is, we are definitely going to let you know first. So that's all I got right now.
Yeah. So, when she first put a post out about it, who would be interested, I just had to say something about it, because I'm like, yo, we need our own Memphis meetup. You know what I'm saying? We need to be right here, because we have so much stuff going on within the Memphis area that we don't even have an opportunity to come together as entrepreneurs and be able to inspire each other and network with each other, do good, solid business by each other. So, this is the reason why because when I met her, I didn't even know she was from Memphis. So when she shot me a phone, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, you from Memphis? Yeah. So we was planning to do this even at the Black Equity Con. We was planning to do this interview. So hey, it came to fruition. Good lady, wonderful husband. So check this out. We're gonna make this thing work. Last but not least, you want to talk about this webinar?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Come on with it.
Let's talk about it. So when Mr. Mike and I were talking, and I know that trucking is a very specific niche of a business, and especially when he was talking about like the commonalities that he's seen amongst his colleagues. I have an actual client who was a trucker, but she is a family-owned business in Kentucky, but a lot of things that he talked about are the same things that my particular client is going through. Why can't we just have a webinar where we're all together, where we're all talking about, and I know a lot of you guys may be in the DIY stage. So let us all get together, and I'm gonna try to see if I can get Bro Tunstall in the webinar as well, so you can hear from a bookkeeping standpoint, from a tax preparing standpoint, as far as the advantages that you have by investing in an expert. Y'all are on the road all the time. Y'all don't have time to do this, right? And this is not just a plea to just get money from you. Hear me clearly. But as you're preparing to be a CEO, and if this is your bread and butter, and this is where your heart wants to be, you want to invest in a team. I know that there are several horror stories about, like Steve Harvey talked about his accounting, and other, celebrities talking about how accountants have taken advantage of them. But they know that because those things happen because they just assume that, those accountants know that celebrities don't have time to look at their stuff. And I'm here to tell you now that we are of integrity, and you can't be your best unless we give you the numbers so you can work, on your business. It just makes sense. I wouldn't want that done to me. So I definitely would not do that to y'all. And I just think it might just be best if we're all in one space. Everybody's got questions that probably the other trucker may want to ask, but they don't know how to articulate it. It's just good to be in those types of environments where we can work and glean off of each other, and everybody's getting the same information at the same time. And at the end of the day, we're all growing together.
There you go. There you go. So there it is. So we're gonna get together, Ms. Jones and I, and we're gonna coordinate this Make a Buck with a Truck GP financial webinar, okay? Because I need you guys to have this information. This is like a passion for me, for you to be the best entrepreneur that you could be when it comes to the trucking world. I mean, everybody feel like they got it figured out, but we don't have it figured out. That's the reason why it becomes a who, not how situation. It's not about how we can do, who can we reach out to, who can give us what we need to be able to get to the next level. You know what I'm saying? We went, oh, well, I got mine. I don't need nobody to tell me how to handle my business. Well, guess what? When the IRS pop up, they're gonna tell you how to handle your business, and it's gonna be called, let me hit that bank account. You're gonna go swipe your card, and your card gonna be like, it's gonna say declined. You know what I'm saying? Because the IRS just froze your accounts. All of them. All of them. You may know them, you got an online account, they getting that one too. Okay. And like I have an incorporation. So with my S Corp, it helps me navigate some other spaces. You know what I'm saying? It helps me to just be able to say how much income I make versus somebody going to say, okay, well, as a W-2 employee, this is what he make. They can pull a J5 and look at me and find out how much income you make. Well, a reasonable wage for me is $50,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? I mean, regardless of whether my business makes $279, Mike Dotson makes $50,000 a year, if you get where I'm coming from. So, that's how we have to handle our business. And I'm going to give Ms. Jones, because it's going to free me up to say exactly what I can do. Because me, myself, personally, y'all, I overspend. You know what I'm saying? What I don't overspend, I give away. So I'm trying to get out of that too. So we just have to be able to say, if we got somebody holding us accountable financially, you know what I'm saying, pay the money. It's worth it. Pay the money. So I'm going to do my first consultation with Ms. Jones. I'm going to schedule an appointment with her, sit down, lay my cards out on the table. I'm going to cry. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do whatever I got to do to try to make this thing happen. Hey, bless you all. You know what I'm saying? Right, I'm going to let Ms. Jones close it out. Ms. Jones, you can close it out any kind of way you want to.
Sure. Well, I'm glad that you talked about laying your cards out on the table. And I say this as many times as I need to. As a bookkeeper and as a service-based owner, a lot of our potential clients come to us thinking that they failed in some type of way. And I want y'all to know that first of all, congratulate yourselves by at least seeking guidance from a professional and an expert. That's what good CEOs do. They recognize the problems and at least ask for help. So a lot of that consultation may be a Dr. Phil session. I'm just going to be honest with you, but that's what we're here for. Do not come to GIP thinking that you did something wrong, like we're going to judge you or anything like that, because what we do is very much like when you go to the doctor. We can't help you until you have full disclosure with us. So when you lay those cards out on the table, say I hadn't filed taxes about 3 or 4 years, we have resources to help you with all of that. So don't feel like you have to come and try to hide anything. So that's the first thing. We are here to serve you, and this is a safe space because we understand, like I said, the horror stories about accountants and bookkeepers, and we want to be the exception for that. And then second of all, if you guys are interested in this webinar, once we get all the logistics set up, go ahead and start asking questions. I'll make sure to give Mr. Mike our email address so you can email us those questions ahead of time so we can go ahead and have those answers for you, right? So I cannot stress that enough. We are a safe space and we want to make sure to help you win. We don't call ourselves GIP Financials for anything. We want to help you get in position to win.
All right, that'll work. That'll work. So, hey, Ms. Jones, I really appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Phenomenal lady, y'all. Y'all give it up for Ms. Jones. Let's get some hand claps for Ms. Jones. Hey, that'll work. So, look, guys, put your A team together. Attorney, agent, accountant. You know what I'm saying? In this case, accountant. Okay, put your A team together. Okay, get your accountants together, get your attorney together, and get your agents together. Let's get all of these things together so we can run our business the way we're supposed to. Okay, hey, I'm preaching to the choir right here because I'm in the process of getting mine straight too, because I did business based off of what I knew. I knew enough to get me started, but I don't have enough to elevate and grow. So I'm looking to step out of a truck in August and my birthday. Don't look like it's gonna happen right now, but I'm gonna still speak that thing into existence. Right. Drive into my truck. We got another truck and put a driver in it. Purchasing another truck, put a driver in it as well. So, but it's going to give me the ability to be able to free me up some time to be able to honestly sit down with Ms. Jones and kind of work this thing out, and she can show me if I'm able to even pay a driver to do it. So, okay. Mm-hmm. So, hey, God bless you guys. Love you. Hey, make a buck with a truck.
All the books with trucks.